Hello, and thank you for checking in with 5 Minutes with KeRusso again. As you are aware, if you've been following us for a while, we are in the Gospel of Matthew, and we are sharing the teachings of Jesus with his disciples on what it means to be a disciple. How does one become a disciple? How does the disciple live? How does a follower of Jesus model Jesus for other people to see? What do they value? What kind of decisions do they make? What kind of actions do they make in any given circumstance? But Jesus gives teachings about that. Now, what he did is as he gets into trying to bring followers along with him, Matthew tells you in chapter 4 that he goes around preaching the good news about the kingdom of heaven. And you're going to see this phrase, kingdom of heaven, a lot in Matthew, especially Matthew chapter 13, where we're fixing to go. And it's going to be connected with this idea of it being good news. Well, we all could use some good news, right? But what's so good about the kingdom of heaven? In the United States, we're not too big on kings. We fought a war to break free of a king back in the 1700s. We didn't want somebody telling us what to do. We're fiercely independent, sometimes to our own fault and our own failing. And you see that going on with this pandemic. And I'm sure people of other countries have the same issue. What can the government mandate? And what freedoms do we have? And when do we stand up for freedoms and say, okay, the government can't tell me I've got to do this, and the government can't tell me I've got to do that, or whatever, even though we know there's a pandemic going on. And so we wrestle with that here in the United States, and maybe not so much in your country. But this idea about having a king is not something that really endears, is not an endearing thought to a lot of Americans. So when you read in the Gospel of Matthew, there's this cultural divide that has to be, this chasm that has to be spanned, where you can embrace the idea of having a king and being part of a kingdom. So what I want you to do is, and I want you to read Matthew chapter 13. I encourage you to do that, and just listen to what Jesus is saying about the kingdom. Let it just kind of soak in, realizing that he's the king of the kingdom, and he's telling you what it's going to be like to be a citizen in his kingdom and who can be in his kingdom. And ask yourself questions as you go through. Do I want to be in the kingdom? Do I want to have a king? Would I surrender my will to a king? Here in the United States, as well as any prospering country, and prospering is kind of a relative term, but when you have people living outside borders in countries that are poorer and disadvantaged and going through all kinds of struggles, and then right next door to them there's another country where things seem to be better, grass is greener on the other side of the hill, kind of a deal. Well, you see people rushing to be a part of that other country, to get into that country so they have some of those benefits as well. Well, Jesus is saying to people that the kingdom is a place that you want to be. Do you believe that? Would you rush to be a part of the kingdom? Or are you just satisfied with what you have in this world? And that's something that you want to ask yourself as you listen more to Jesus and you hear the things that he says about kingdom, his kingdom, the kingdom of heaven. And he offers you the opportunity to be part of that kingdom. Will you want to be a part of it? He's not going to make you. But he's going to offer it to you. I believe that what we are doing as we look at these teachings of Jesus is huge. Jesus believed that he could give us the best life, and the best life is in his kingdom, and the only way to be a part of that kingdom is to be his disciple, his follower. Are you willing to be that? Give that some thought. Next time, there'll be another disciple who share a thought with you that'll be worth you listening to. So check in on Monday and be blessed.